Visit Sailrite.com for all your project supplies, tools, and instructions. In this tutorial video, we're going to be showing you how to sew diamond pleats into your upholstery fabric. Even though this fabric is rather large, it can still be sewn with the Sailrite Ultrafeed Sewing Machine. We're going to show you how it's done.
To accomplish these pleats, in this one we used a 1/4 inch sew foam, which is what this is. So it's got a fabric backing on the back side and it has a foam on this side. This is a 1/4 inch. We also have a 1/2 inch too if you want these to be more pronounced. But the idea is that this fabric will prevent your stitch from pulling through the foam. I've cut my sew foam so it's just slightly bigger than our top plate, which is obviously oversized already. Now we need to apply a spray glue. The spray glue needs to be applied to the foam side, not the fabric side. This is the side that needs to have the bottom stitch. So we're going to turn it so the foam side is up. And the spray glue also needs to be applied to the bottom side of the seating vinyl. Now we're going to use a 3M General Trim adhesive. I do recommend putting on a respirator. You can also do this with Foam Fast 74, Albania Headliner spray adhesive, and Foam Lock spray adhesive. They actually work pretty well for this kind of application. I don't need a ton of glue. I'm just going to coat the surface going one way, not vertical and horizontal. And I'm going to do that to the foam and also the fabric, because I don't want this to move when I'm sewing. Now you want to put them together when it becomes tacky and the glue no longer transfers to your finger when you touch it. And it is tacky right now and there's no glue transferring, so it's time to glue them together. Okay, I'm going to get a second helper here so that we can kind of glue this down without having to worry about wrinkles and such. Just makes it a little bit easier. And remember, we made this a little bit bigger. Now what you want to do is you want to start from the center and work out towards the sides. You never want to start on an end. That way you can work out any wrinkles. Okay, once we get this down, we're going to turn it over because the important side is what does it look like on the vinyl. I do not see any bubbles or wrinkles, and that's perfect. Okay, so now we're going to make the diamonds. Now the diamonds can be anything that you want. We're going to go with the 30 degree on the clear acrylic ruler. And remember, we cut these edges straight. So you could lay this here if you want the diamonds to be oblong this way, because I'm going to make the diamonds wider in this direction. You can make them wider in that direction as well by just starting on this short side and marking it 30 degrees. But for us, we've decided to do it this way. So we're going to put the 30 degree line on the edge of the fabric anywhere. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to do it over here so that I get the ruler going a little bit off of the vinyl fabric. And we're going to use this chalk marking device that has basically a little roller on the end. And this chalk will easily come off when we're done, and yet stays pretty much on the fabric the entire time we're sewing the channel or the stitch into it. So there's our 30 degree line, and we're going to go 30 degrees in the opposite direction. And we're going to just put this down here like that. And I'll just mark it this direction. And we'll extend that here in a minute. I just want to show you the process. And then what I like to do is I like the triangles to be about 2 inches apart. So I'm going to put this on the 2-inch line here of the clear acrylic ruler. And I'm going to strike another line just to kind of show you the diamond that we're making. Okay. And then let's put a line 2 inches apart from this line. And then you can just experiment with your diamonds or your triangles, and if you don't like what you have on some scrap fabric, you can change that. Now you do have to hold this up against the edge of your ruler, otherwise it has a tendency to walk away. So this is the diamond that we're going to be creating here. So why do I like to make it 2 inches? Well, that's because my long ruler, if you can see here, is exactly 2 inches wide. So once I have my patterns drawn, all I have to do is basically put this ruler on the material and move it every time that I need to make a new line, and I have a 2-inch width automatically. Now occasionally the chalk in this device can sometimes have bumps or lumps, or moisture can get to the chalk. And if that happens, the wheel will sometimes stop spinning, and all I do basically to correct that is I go in the opposite direction. So I'm going to see if I can make that happen so you can see it. Now, do concentrate on keeping it up against your ruler. One way I do that is I actually hold it kind of at a slight angle to the edge of the ruler. That way it's kind of forced against my ruler as I go. So now all I have to do is move this down and line it up with that other line and draw our next chalk line. And we'll just keep doing this until we have this entire thing filled with our diamonds. You may also notice that the chalk leaves a lot of dust beside the line. Again, all that's going to come off easily. And you should always check any marking pencil with any fabrics that you're using to make sure that if you want the lines to come off, that they do come off before you use it on your original project. So we also have this marking utensil in blue for white fabrics that the white doesn't show up on. However, these marks typically don't come off as easily as the white for some reason. So this is a vinyl product and this is a wet rag, and you can see that there's some residue left. Now if you use a multi-surface cleaner and spray that on your rag and then get it off, it actually comes off fairly well with that, but you can still see some blue marks. So if you're going to use one of these, always test it with your fabric before you use it, because you may find it doesn't come off in the colors. When you're sewing these sew foam and vinyl seating fabric like we are here, it is always a good idea to test your tension, because you're going to find that tension is not normal. It doesn't require nearly as much tension. So I'm going to back off on my upper tension here because I pretty much know that it's not going to take as much. You want that knot to be buried on the underside rather than on the top side, because it's going to probably be exposed to the top. See right there? The knot's right to the top. This thing, for some reason, doesn't require hardly any tension at all, and we don't want that to be visible. We still want a nice tight stitch, but we just don't want that knot on top. So you must make a sample piece like this, like we did, and be sure that you're satisfied with your stitch. So I'm going to keep sewing until I get my tension just about right. Now that looks pretty good. See the knot's not here on the top anywhere, and yet if we look at the bottom side, and I caught my trailer threads here, but if you look at the bottom side, I can just see the knot on the back side. So my stitch is fairly tight. I'm probably going to tighten it just a little bit more to make sure that my stitch doesn't come loose by accident. Let's try it one more time, see what we get. Yes, no knot on top, and the knot is just slightly on the bottom side. I think that's perfect. One of the nice things about the Ultrafeed sewing machine is this foot pedal can be moved anywhere, and when you're doing this channeling stuff, you'll find that you want the foot pedal further away from the sewing machine, so that's kind of nice. Now you can still do it with the treadle type, but this is very convenient in my opinion. You may be asking, how in the world am I going to get all this fabric underneath the throat of the sewing machine? Well, I'm going to scroll it up, and it's possible. So that's, a lot of people say, hey, that can't be done because the sewing machine's too small. The Ultrafeed's phenomenal at this because of its walking foot. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with more of a middle stitch first, just to lock the fabric in place. I could start out here on the edges, but I like to go across this way and across that way in close to the middle position. That way I'm assured that my fabric is locked in place even though I glued it. So I'm going to start right here with this one. I'm going to lower my foot. We've already set up tension, so we're good. We're sewing 6mm straight stitch. And remember, we have extra fabric on the side. I'm not going to do any reversing. So I'm going to start sewing here, and then I'm going to scroll up this fabric. Now, there are no sewing in channels here, which makes it a little bit harder to roll. As soon as we get some of the sewing done, you'll find that this stuff rolls nicely on the stitch. And here's why I like that foot pedal to be so far from the sewing machine, because I basically can kind of guide it like this as I go. Now I'm going to go pretty slow for this first one because I want to make sure it's pretty accurate, and I want to make sure that I get it fed underneath the arm of the sewing machine for these first 2 stitches. So I got to scroll a little bit more because it's coming against the sewing machine. There we go. Don't worry if you get a little bit of creases in the foam and in the vinyl, it won't show up in the end. Just following my white line, making sure that the product doesn't run into anything hard. Then when I get to the end, again, I'm not going to do any reversing. I'm just going to sew right up to the edge of the vinyl. I'm going to lift my needle, lift the presser foot, and I'm going to cut my stitches, leaving them fairly long. And I did start out with a brand new bobbin. That's very, very important. Now I'm going to do this in the opposite diagonal here. Now I don't want to run out of bobbin at all when I'm sewing this. Now I know I've got plenty of bobbin right now, so I don't have to worry about that. So notice I have an X basically through this. That way my material's locked down. Now I'm going to start from this small side and work this way, and the fabric will start to fold a lot easier because of the fact that each one of these stitch lines makes it easy to fold it, to get it underneath the throat of the sewing machine. So here in a little bit, I'm going to sew a few more of these, and then we're going to come back after we start getting enough fabric that I have to scroll it again, and I'll show you what those, by sewing off to the side, what it does. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sewing here. Now watch this. Because they're sewing, see how nicely it folds on those sew lines? So now it's a lot easier to scroll. That's why I like to start with a corner like this after I get the fabric tacked in place, because it's easy to scroll it on each one of those stitch lines. Now if you want to be very precise and make sure that you don't make a mistake, just come up here to the top to your worker bee system and turn down the speed. So let's go halfway. So now if I press down all the way on the foot control, this is as fast as I ever go. So you can't hardly make a mistake. So if you want to be precise, you got the control with the worker bee power pack system. Okay, I've done enough sewing that I don't trust my bobbin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check it, because I don't want to start sewing in the middle. I'm going to pull my bobbin out and look to see how much thread's on it. And yeah, there's still quite a bit of thread, but why risk it? I mean, I'd rather just throw that out than anything else. And I've already pre-wound some other bobbins, so now I can start with a fresh one, and I don't have to worry about having no stitches happen in my assembly. I don't want any holes. We have all this sewn almost to the middle position, and so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it around, because it's easier to fit it through the arm of the sewing machine to the opposite corner and sew those. This just makes it easier for fabrication. So now you can see we're starting to make the patterns go in the other direction, and how it's nice and plush look. This is the 1/4 inch sew foam. We also have a 1/2 inch sew foam, and obviously the 1/2 inch sew foam would show more contour to each one of the diamonds. So it's your choice. Now we're going to take a damp rag, and you may want to use some fabric cleaner on it too, but we can just wipe off all the chalk with this, and it comes off beautifully, as you can see. And there's what our beautiful pleats look like. They really do look great. We sewed this up as a sample. This is a 1/2 inch sew foam, whereas compared to the 1/4 inch sew foam. And this is a different diamond pattern. It's actually not even a diamond, it's a square. But look how it's raised here. So I just wanted to show you, if you wanted this kind of a shape for your diamonds or your squares, you could do that. And again, you can make any kind of pattern you want. So this is a 1/2 inch, and this is the 1/4 inch.
Now we can take that pleated fabric and sew it into a cushion or any other application. Here we sewed it into a cushion for an RV, and here's what it looks like at the end. Tutorial videos showing how to make that seat cushion with the diamond pleats or the backrest are coming soon. Make sure you subscribe to the Sailrite YouTube channel to be notified when new videos are available. I'm Eric Grant, and from all of us here at Sailrite, thanks for watching.